T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the future and the current Outbreak champion, Tonster Damas. Well, what's up, Tonster? And of course, everyone knows, I hope, that this is OCC. This is out of character. Tonster is not in character.
I was just like, I was liking the intro.
Well, my ass didn't have enough time to make another intro, so that was the one we went. I didn't have time to make a show intro, so that's what we went with. For you that do not know, this is Behind the Voice. This is where we sit down with current superstars and we get to know the real them. The Behind the Voice, that's what it stands for. It's not them in character. We're not here to promote. We're not here to shit talk. Well, maybe a little shit talk, but not promo shit talk anyway. This is where we get to know Tonster a little bit better.
Not from me.
Kind of do a quick run through, and we kind of take a couple of breaks and that kind of thing. Before we get started, do not forget. Let me see here. Let me find it. Tonster, why don't you start telling everybody where you grew up and where you were born and raised at?
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, for the first about 12 years of my life, raised in Staten Island, which was about 15, 20 minutes from there. Married in Jersey.
Wow.
Pretty much that's it.
Forget about it. Ain't that how y'all talk up here? Forget about it.
Forget about it. No, you got to say forget about. You don't say the it. You go forget about.
There you go. Forget about. Oh, goodness.
When you come down, if you come stay here, come for a week or so, I give you some pasta, some pizza. You'll start saying forget about.
Start saying forget about it. Well, for those that do not know, poor Tonster Damas here is a New York Jets fan. We don't hold it against him in Revolution, but he is a New York Jets fan.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I appreciate that to start off the show.
Well, one of the things I always like to jump into is because what we do in Revolution is wrestling based, and about 98% of us are wrestling fans. You got a few out there that don't watch wrestling and do promos and be in the middle of it. But what age would you say that is that you started watching wrestling, and did someone get you into it? Did you discover it on your own?
What age?
Yeah.
What age? Probably at least 3-4 years old. And it was with my grandfather, my grandpa Charlie. Every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, Superstars and Wrestling Challenge would be on. We lived upstairs from him. I get the doorbell would ring. I come downstairs every Saturday, Sunday morning. Grandma would make pancakes, and me and him would watch wrestling. That's how it started. And it was like that for a good 10 years. Me and him would just watch wrestling. And a lot of times we rented VHS WrestleMania 3 and 4. They came on one tape.
Yeah.
Me and him would watch. I'd rent that probably once a month, and me and him would watch that all the time.
Kids today do not know the
grandfather's
satisfaction of going to a video store and renting wrestling VHS tapes. Like that was all I ever wanted to rent when I went. A lot of times it was that video
like Blockbuster?
Yeah. Oh my God. They had I would just go there and I would just like randomly, and everybody's like, "Why are you renting like the '93 Rumble?" I was like, "But why the fuck not?" You know, like.
Oh, we take it for granted now. It's on all the time. I like it's hard to even watch it anymore. It's like there's so many options. It was different going to the store and just seeing live. And then you'd find you find a WCW tape, like Halloween Havoc, Sting's fighting Sid. You're like, that's probably a good main event. Let me check out WCW for now.
Yeah. What was the first memorable match that you remember seeing? Now, I know it's very cliche, but I know I remember pretty much what the first match was that I seen. And that was Andre versus Hogan. Now, of course, it was a couple of years old. It was years old when I seen it. It was on a VHS tape. I didn't get to watch it live or no shit. I wasn't in the theater because people remember the old WrestleManias used to take places in theaters and shit. You could go pay like in a movie and go sit down and watch them. You know, that was the only way you could watch them back then. Pay-per-view really didn't fucking exist. You paid that money or you had to wait for it to come out on VHS. Right. When I watched it was probably 4 or 5, 6 years old. Hell, who knows how old it was when I watched it.
Right. The first pay-per-view match that I really remember, big match, was WrestleMania 6, Hogan Warrior. That was huge to me. That was just extravagant. When Hogan lost, I was flabbergasted. I was shocked being a kid.
You know, I was shocked then, but now being an adult and looking back on that match, I am more shocked at the fact that out of all the talent that was in WWF that Hogan laid down for and took the pin from, it was the Ultimate fucking Warrior.
Yeah, man. Like there was so many good heels. I don't know, did he want to put him over? Is it Vince's fault? Who knows? But like Rick Rude, Perfect. These guys they could have freaking been heels for a good year and had a good title run with Hogan. It could have worked in my eyes.
It could have worked. Well, for you that's just joining with us, is Behind the Voice, where we sit down with promo guys, and we get to know the real them. Speaking of which, we got another show that's coming on in February. I'm pretty excited for this one also. This is episode 5, bringing sax back. Everybody knows if you've watched A-List Alverson, he is very notorious for the saxophone in his intro. So I thought that was very, very fitting. I've been wanting to get A-Lister on for a while, and he actually come to me not long ago and said, I'm ready to be booked for Behind the Voice. So I was excited when he come to me. I was like, hell yeah. So now we'll get him on also. Moving along, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to dive into some more questions. Excuse me, got a little, in my chest, a little cotton mouth. It's trying to get to me a little bit.
Got the coffee for that.
But let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
So you've spent your life as a wrestling fan. Have you gotten bored of what you've seen on TV and thought to yourself that with your creativity and artistic talent, if you were in control of the characters, you could make an awesome show? Welcome to Revolution. Use your promo skills to play the part, become the star, and compete for real championship belts. Whether your style is bare bones, or you're an outbreak or tag team talent, or even if you want to compete for the grand prize, the Revolution World Championship. It's real fun, real easy, and you can become a champion holding a real belt. Join today.
Welcome back to Behind the Voice. We're sitting here with the current Outbreak champion, Mr. Tostradamus. We are out of character. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit before we go into further and we dive into more and get to know you better. I will kind of want your opinion on this tag team thing that we got going on.
Okay.
You and Mr. Sexton was eliminated this past week, but I have to get your opinion. Who is your favorite to go on and win it all? You got Sweet Chaos, and you got Hollywood and Stump, and you got Hodgson and Harry, and you got Chris Champion and the Villain.
Well,
so who would you put your money on to go ahead and go all the way? I mean, and this is go all the way. And when I mean all the way, win the tournament, go on to beat Life Blood and take the championships.
Yeah, it's tough. Losing to Harry and Hodgson, I guess I'm a little biased, and I hope they actually really do well because I think they put on a really good showing against us. I'm pretty new to this, about like 4 or 5 months now. From what I've seen from Chris Champion, he's got some pretty good skills. And
he's all right. I carried that fucker for years. He's all right.
Well, here, like you and him, though. Honestly, there's guys like you, him, A-list. You guys can just talk, keep going. I can't rely on that. I can't. I have to be not just vocal, but physical. I want to show that. You know what I'm saying? I feel that's a big part of it. To me, it's a big part of it. Not to just, I want to show that it's more than words. Not saying that what you guys do is a bad thing. I want to do that. I wish I can do that. I think I rely too much on my movements. I'd like to get better at speaking.
I mean, hey, whatever works for you works for you. I'll be honest with you. Let me go ahead and let the revolution in on a little secret. When I first seen Tostradamus, I thought he was a fake profile.
So what?
I thought you was a fake profile.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought you just some guy that come in like some fucking dude. Because a lot of times we'll get, Pakistanis that will come in and join our group and they'll try to make a name. And then, and then you kind of find out, you're like, oh, you want to compete for a belt? Yeah, but I'm in Pakistan. I can't mail you a fucking belt to Pakistan, dude, or some shit. And then I seen the name Tostradamus, and I was like, this guy's fucking with us. And then, like, I think you actually decided that it wasn't maybe for you there for a second, and you walked away, and then we kind of baited you back and brought your ass back to it.
Yeah,
and then you
something like that.
And then you kind of end up sticking, and then you end up sticking around, and then you start dropping promos. And I messaged Chris Champion right away, and I said, "Man, this guy's got something." I said, "He's not spitting quite fire yet." I said, "But the way he's doing things is interesting." And I said, and now everybody else sees you're the current Outbreak champion, so apparently you're doing something fucking right. If you're holding championships around the level of talent that we have in that locker room. All right, let's move along. You said that you talked about some of the old heels, and me and you've had this conversation, a bunch about guys like Mr. Perfect and Rick Rude and those type of guys. It's 1991. Hogan breaks his leg. You got Rick Rude, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Mr. Perfect all in the back waiting for a push. Who's your next world champion?
Perfect. Easy. I mean,
Heenan was a beast, man. They people forget how good in the ring that motherfucker really was. If you go back to before his WWF days,
yes,
that
I've seen
dude was fucking phenomenal, man.
I mean, just from a logic standpoint, right after Hogan, he went to Brett. So he went to that wrestling aspect. So the guys you gave me, I got to go Perfect.
The Tostradamus character is 75% crazy ass.
All right, come on, 75%. That's a lot.
Don't feel bad. If they can find something, they're going to get you with it. Like fucking Patrick this day still sends me little clips of him screaming, making fun of me, going, loud noises.
No, I take it as a compliment. It's become a trademark at this point. Come on, not the scratching of the face and stuff. Come
Hey,
on.
I will give you this. There's not too many motherfuckers that can pull off a no-word promo.
Thank you.
I've seen it pulled off a couple of times, but there's not too many motherfuckers that can pull it off. I mean, there's some people that can't pull off a talking promo. That's beside the point.
Can never hear us. I'll be nice.
What is your favorite pay-per-view growing up? I'm telling you, mine was always the Rumble when I was growing
92?
up.
92?
92.
When Flair won?
When Flair won. I mean, I just always liked the Rumble in particular. It
Oh,
was
just
always
in particular, just the Rumble
it was
itself.
always
No,
that
just-
in Survivor Series when it was worth the fuck. It used to be
when
worth the
Survivor
fuck.
Series first came out, that was huge.
Yeah.
That was huge. I mean, how could you not go with the Rumble? To this day, I hate the product now, and I still watch the Royal Rumble.
Dude, I got baited into watching it again this year.
You gotta watch the Rumble.
Every
man.
year it's like, maybe
exciting.
it'll be good.
I can't get enough Rumble. They added the women's. I'm cool with it, man. I can't get enough Rumble.
You know,
I love it.
And Patrick's like, well, I'm going. I was like, fuck, I gotta watch it now because he's going to be there. So
Yeah.
like Patrick don't even watch the new WWE product. Like, you know, like he'll hit me up and he'll be watching like fucking 2002 fucking pay-per-view or something.
I usually take the road trips to WrestleMania. I'm not going this year. I am not seeing Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Part 3. It's not happening. I'm not spending a week. I got a child now. I'm not taking a week of my life road tripping with guys, with a bunch of guys.
People don't understand
No.
WrestleMania is a thing. That's like an all-week fucking thing, man. There's no way I
It
can
is.
be doing
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Would you let's see, let's go ahead and move a little bit forward. Let's go ahead and jump to about the mid-90s. Was you a WCW guy at all?
I loved it. I
WCW.
love Nitro. You're talking Nitro mainly when it first started. Loved it because they brought a totally different product.
Yeah,
To
we're
me,
not-
I'm not saying at first it sucked. At first I thought it kind of sucked. It wasn't that good. But then
Right.
you really started getting used to the luchadors and the cruiserweights. I'm like, oh shit, these guys can go. And you know, like, oh,
Yeah.
and then all the star power they had. The WWF at that time didn't really have a lot of star power. They were building that star power.
You know, I feel like wrestling fans have degressed and not progressed at all. As far as I remember when we were growing up, we used to fight for some kind of hey, you know, Eddie Guerrero deserves to be world champion.
Right.
Dean Malenko deserves a push. Rey Mysterio should be pushed. And all these guys are very undersized. They're not your typical looking world champion. I mean, hell, some of them didn't have great bodies. Dean Malenko never had a great body. He was short and stubby, and he was never buffed the fuck up or anything like that.
He wasn't believable.
Yeah, he
At
was
first,
believable.
yeah.
But now I fucking constantly see online people bashing Adam Cole for his body, people bashing Orange Cassidy for the size that he is. And it's
Guilty.
like, how did the fuck did we go backwards? This is a stage event, people. We all
Yeah.
know as wrestling fans, it is completely 100% stage. It's a fucking show. That's supposed to be what makes Orange Cassidy or Adam Cole being world champion any fucking different than some fucking 135 dude who's had his head beat in for 9 rounds in a boxing match in a fucking movie, and he comes out round 10 and throws haymakers and knocks down this 275 pound champion, and now he's the world champion. I mean, come on, man. I just don't see the line. Like, who gives a fuck if Adam Cole ain't fucking ripped up? Who cares? If you are invested most of the time into pro wrestling, me personally, the thing that gets you into pro wrestling is not just ring ability. It's stories. You watch it because you have the same fixation that you have as for fucking movies. You want to be told a story. And the guy don't have to look like Thanos, God of War, or some bullshit for him to be able to tell you a fucking story and for him to be world champion.
Well, look what they did with Shawn Michaels in 97 and 96 and on 95 even. They started it all, showing that the little guy can really rise up.
This is Jay Briggy, and he says, I saw Malenko versus Ray live the night after the bash at the beach, and it's one of my favorite matches ever. I used to go and rent WCW pay-per-views and not even watch the end of them because they always had the cruiserweights at the beginning of them.
Right.
I'm sorry, even as a child, by the time Hogan got around to being this big superpower in the NWO and all that shit got boring really, really fast. It was only entertaining for about a year, and then when they blew it out their ass with the Sting story at the end, and then you add the finger poke of doom.
You talk about the way it ended, the way it happened with Brett and all that. It was one of those jump the shark moments, man.
It was like, what the fuck did y'all do, man? Y'all been telling me a story for a year, and then you end it like that. Like
it was good too. It was good. That's the only WCW pay-per-view that I bought. Was Starrcade '97. It was the only show that I got.
I can't say that. we used to order them all. We had us and my cousin stayed next door, and we all split. So what we do, we'd split the WWF pay-per-views and we'd split the WCW pay-per-views, and we would record them all. So that way we could watch both of them because I was watching both at the time, and we used to order WCW all the time. And it after that, man, it's like it still stayed on top for a little while, but I really felt like it lost its juice after that. So. It just did. And then you had 3 or 4 different NWO factions. And then you got then next thing you know, fucking Rusev's in that shit. I mean, not Rusev, but Russo's over there. And it was like, all right, it's time to get the fuck out.
WWF was they were on a roll, man. You weren't stopping that train, bro. You weren't stopping that train. They became not only better, but cooler. You know, it was in '97. All it was in pop culture was South Park and WWF.
Yep,
it's all you saw.
Yep, they was the two that was fighting it out for merchandise. That entire year was South Park and WWF.
WWF basically had Cartman on the show every week with Golga holding him.
Yeah,
that's how popular they were, man.
Yep, sure the fuck did.
Yeah.
Ric Flair. Let's talk about Ric Flair for 5 seconds. Now we ain't even gonna get into the debate about helicopters and all this kind of things.
Okay. Cool.
In your personal opinion, how good is really Ric Flair?
See, here's the thing. He's excellent. The guy is great. I mean, but it's hard to see. I go crazy with this conversation. It's hard to go by era and era and era. And this guy did this. This guy did that. This guy's on the mic. This guy was a good worker. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to compare eras.
I do the same thing with sports, and the same thing I tell people with sports. When I start talking about GOAT levels of each, I'm like, look, man, you can't compare eras. Because even if that era was weaker, they were used to play. They were part of that era. So to them, it wasn't like they were playing weaker people. That was them fucking having to fucking really perform. You know, they was not evolved as the athletes are now. So that's just how you have to look at it. Everyone fits to their era.
Ric Flair had a lot of the same matches, I feel. That's just me.
That's what Jim Cornette says about him. Like Jim Cornette says the same thing, and I kind of agree with it. You know, Ric Flair might have wrestled,
but he also had
20 billion matches. You know, but over half of those 20 billion matches was the same match. He wrestled literally the same match 7 days a week sometimes. The same set, the same move set, the same finish, the same everything. Because back then you didn't have TV, so you could pull that shit. You could literally go to this small town and do that show, and then go over to the town over and do the same fucking show and do the same fucking finish, the same story, every fucking thing. No one knows the difference.
But here's the thing: he could come out tomorrow, cut a promo, a great promo, and then say "woo" at the end, and you're laughing, bro. You're like, this fucking guy, man. He's still doing it.
I don't think he needs to talk too much these days because today. He just don't have. He's too fucking old to talk straight and keep what he's doing. He can't really do the elbow drop on the the jacket anymore in the
I'm
middle
the
of the ring.
jacket anymore. Get naked.
Yeah, you know, and all that kind of shit. All right. So you was a Steve Austin guy, huh?
Yes. I mean, how could you not be an Austin guy? I mean, I'm a Sean guy. When Sean Brett, when you talk about Sean Brett, I'm a Sean guy.
Oh,
Not that I don't love Brett. Love Brett.
I'm the same way. You talk Sean and Brett, I'll take Sean. If you talk Sean and Austin, I'm taking Austin. If you talk Taker and Austin, I'm taking Austin. I mean, to me, easily as far as promotion and draw, Austin.
There's nobody better.
There's no one better. There's no one better as far as
nobody
now.
better.
Was Austin great in the ring? Fuck no. Back then, I didn't know no better. Back then, it was like, they sold you so much on everything else. So you know, it's. But now I would watch some of those matches, and I'm like, oh boy, that was brutal. That was brutal.
Yeah, good match. He was a brawler, though. He was more of a brawler.
Yeah, he's more of a brawler. I mean, him and Brett put on great matches. Not that I'm a Bret Hart fan. Great fucking matches they'd put on. Brett had a lot of good matches. I just don't like it. I can't stand his fucking attitude. His attitude is just as bad as Sean's. He can say what he wants to. It's just as fucking bad.
See, I hated him for being so bitter all those years, right?
God, he's still fucking bitter. He can say
that's what I'm saying.
Still bitter.
Now he owns his hate so much that it's hard not to respect. It's like, you know what, man? Go ahead. Hate everybody, Brett. Hate everybody.
he bitched and complained about Goldberg for so many years. Goldberg finally said, fuck it, Brett. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fuck you up.
Seriously.
I always make the joke about Bret Hart and Goldberg is you need no one else to do their documentaries. You don't need no one to sit down and tell you what kind of person Bret Hart was or how good he was, or Goldberg either, because they do that the whole fucking documentary. I cannot stand watching Bret. He's a good storyteller, but if it gets to a part where he feels like he was wronged or something, or it was something he didn't like, oh man, here comes Bret with the fucking boo-hoo crybaby bullshit. Well, that wasn't right, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, Bret.
I always said, you know, who'll tell you how good Bret is? You want to know who'll tell you how good Bret is? Bret.
Yes. Don't you remember when they did the fucking Montreal Screwjob thing on the dark side of the ring and they go to his fucking house and it's like a whole wall of Bret Hart in Bret's house. He's got a whole fucking wall dedicated to his fucking self.
No.
Like, dude, how do you not have it's like I bet you he goes up there and shoots pool and just stares at us, going, damn, you really was the best there is and the best there was.
He's proud, man. He's proud though. He's just proud. He's a proud dude.
Yeah, I can't deal with Bret or Goldberg, either one. They both get on my nerves like that. But was he important for WWF back in the day? Fuck yeah, he was a huge draw. You know, huge fucking draw. But anyway, let's go ahead and move it along a little bit more before we dive to. I can spend 2 hours ragging on Bret Hart. I mean, because I always say it. The best Hart's dead, and that was Owen. You know, he was, to me, he was way better than Bret was.
I agree 100%.
He just never got the recognition.
I agree. Owen was better.
Hey, Liz kind of told me today he was a Bulldog fan. I lost a little respect for him.
I mean, Bulldog wasn't hard. He wasn't a good wrestler, but yeah.
Oh my
It
goodness.
is what it is with the Bulldog.
That's right. Well, let's see. Edward Lindsay wants to know bacon or ham. Edward, you do know that both of those are pork products, right?
Well, so is sausage. I'm a breakfast sausage guy. I like my sausage links and my sausage patties, bro. Sausage, egg, and cheese, that's how I'm going. But if it was bacon or ham, I'm going bacon.
Yeah, probably me too. It really, for the most part, it's always going to be bacon over ham.
Yeah, not a ham guy.
Let's see what this is right here. When Austin cut that 316 promo after the King of the Ring, I was hooked on that character. I think we all was. I loved that promo, but I also remember what happened right before that promo. And I was sad the fact that Jake the Snake Roberts was humiliated the way he was humiliated because he couldn't stay fucking clean. And of course, they sent him out there playing I don't know if everybody remembers this, but that was why he said the 316 thing, because Jake was playing this sober
guy, yeah,
preacher man type, telling, using Bible scriptures and shit in his promos and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And then he would go to the back and snort 3 rails of cocaine, then go drink a fucking 12-pack, and then go home, then go scoop up some hookers. I love Jake, don't get me wrong. It's just like, that's just like, oh, that was just like so bad. That was so bad. Like today, like when I was watching the Rumble today and I seen Jake coming there, and I just shook my head, because could you imagine a real story setting with Jake Roberts and Steve Austin back then? If Jake could have stayed clean, gotten better shape.
If he was clean, he was in horrible shape at that time.
Horrible.
He was in horrible.
That's why they had that big ass top piece on him to try to cover that gut, man. It was horrible. Man. But, he was not as bad shape as the Royal Rumble I watched today, the second one that come on, and I can't remember which one it was. It was the one Cena one. But they had Roddy Piper and Jima Snuka in it.
I was at that one. That's 08.
Oh,
he's number 30. You see him number 30?
Oh, my God. Yes, fucking, he takes that down. Piper takes that damn thing off, and that gut's like kaboom. And then you got old Snook in there. So, look, he's so doped up. He's throwing chops. Looks like it's in slow motion.
And everybody stops to watch them work, right?
Everybody stops to watch, and it's like you could almost see him going, fuck, this is bad. Oh, goodness. All right, I have to ask this question, too. And then we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back and we're going to play a little game I like to call. It's called Over or Under.
Yeah.
All right. When you were younger, because I did not for many, many years, how much did it shock you when you found out that Vince McMahon actually owned WWF and he was not just a fucking announcer?
Yeah, it didn't. I guess it didn't shock me. I always knew something was up because he was always around, and not only was he always around, he would always take shots at the wrestlers. And you're like, who the fuck are you to take shots at wrestlers? And then when it came out, it's like, that's why you would do it. I found out from the steroid trial.
Yeah. He wasn't horrible on commentating. He wasn't great, but he wasn't fucking horrible. Best commentating team, WWF, best commentating team.
Bobby and Gorilla.
That's my favorite too. WCW.
I like when Ventura was there. Tell you the truth, because I like Ventura with Gorilla also.
I do too.
So, Dusty was terrible.
I think a lot of people just wanted Dusty to be better than what he fucking was, and they just accepted him because it was Dusty. But that starts running rough after about 2 hours of that fucking shit on a Nitro, man. It's like, all right.
Speaking of WCW announcing, how they basically, I can't think of an expression, but they watered down Bobby Heenan so bad, man. They watered him down. He was the best. He was the best, man.
What's your favorite wrestling promo of all time?
It's too subjective. There's so I could, off the top of my head, all I could think of is the main ones, like Dusty, the Hard Times promo. I mean, but these are so cliche. Off the top of my head, I really can't think of one in the setting. You know what I'm saying?
It's it's the same way when someone asks me something like that. It's I would say it would have to be like Dusty or Macho's Cream of the Crop ones, or
right. I'll give you wrestlers, but I won't give you like going back to like say, I'm not saying this guy's the greatest promo ever because I'm not. When you hear what I'm saying, Bret Hart, he's not a good promo, but he's real. I like that. What he's saying, it's coming out. I believe this guy. I believe he wants to kick your fucking ass. Excuse my language.
Yeah, and he always really like that's one thing you say about Bray. He never really broke kayfabe. He wanted to keep it until he got fucked.
Yeah,
anyway.
man.
Let's put it that way. He wanted to keep that he was the hero and all that kind of thing, you know.
I respect that, man.
If you a heel, you never going over around Bret, I don't guess, huh? I wonder if that's how that conversation went. Bret's like, well, I'm going over on Austin. Austin's like, well, fuck, I'll just bleed to death. This motherfucker ain't going to outshine me. Which is one of my favorite matches of Bret's, is that match. The double turn is always awesome.
WrestleMania 13? Yeah. So well booked, man. Just looking like that doesn't happen nowadays in our day.
No, it does not. It does not. I honestly, and this ain't even because I'm really high on AEW right now. Honestly, you just don't really convince me too much that WWE has heels and faces. AEW tries to keep it more. Yeah, AEW tries to keep it more heel and face. So if CM Punk was out there as big as face he's been, he started beating someone with a chair and went over the fucking top with it, I think you could pull it off in AEW with the right guys in the right circumstance. WWE right now, there's no one in there I don't think could pull that off. The only person that might be able to pull it off is if Heyman was involved in some kind of fucking way with someone. Like that would be about it.
Heyman has been the star of the company for the past 10 years. He's the star.
Yeah.
No wrestler, it's him.
You actually have Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, who's supposed to be the two biggest wrestling stars in the world, who are fighting over Paul Heyman. So that right there tells you, like, what the fuck they need Paul Heyman for? Heyman don't even get involved in matches most of the time. He just stands on the outside and screams. Fucking great, man. Fucking great.
He's so damn good. He's so damn good. I love Heyman. Love him. Big Heyman mark.
Me too. Let's take a quick commercial break. And we come back, we'll play over or under. If you are watching and you got some questions for Tonster, go ahead and start posting them over here in the comment section. You can ask him anything except for how big his penis is. We'll be right back.
Has life got you down? Did your dog get run over by the postman? Did your wife run off with the milkman? Is your anxiety kicking in and your meds aren't working anymore? Well, I got just the thing for you. Mama Sweet Cosmic Funky Brownies. Mama Sweet Cosmic Funky Brownies. They'll get you lifted.
All right. After we had hope everyone had their little sweet cosmic funky brown, Mama's little sweet cosmic funky brownies. This is a game that we play that I like to play at the end of the show. It's called Over or Under. It's pretty much what I do is I give Tonstradamus some superstars' names. Great example, let's say Steve Austin. Steve Austin, of course, is very over. Let's say, I say, all right, over under for Steve Austin. You think he was overrated or underrated?
Okay. Overrated, underrated. Gotcha.
Overrated, underrated. So we'll go ahead and start with tag teams. This is one of the ones I love to start with because sometimes you get fucking shocking things, and sometimes it causes a fight because it seems to be touchy. Legion of Doom, overrated, underrated.
How about I can't just say rated. Like they are what they are. They're not. They they were so over that it's hard to say they were overrated, underrated. You know, like I'd say neither on that one.
Neither on that one. I always start with them because I
Am
know
I
that.
allowed to say that?
Yeah, I guess so. I know
All right.
for some reason it's like it's a touchy subject if someone says that they were overrated.
I ain't over.
I've said it before because
If I had
could,
to pick, if I had to pick one of them, I think I'm going over.
going overrated.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel. I think they did what they did at their time. Other than being
Name
shitty.
one classic Legion of Doom match. Legion of Doom. Can't.
Yeah.
I can tell you a good entrance. WrestleMania, SummerSlam at Wembley Stadium '92.
You know, and see,
gold.
that's how I really measure people. See, I like how you measure people. That's how I really measure people. Like, did that guy have a match the moment that I was just like, dude, that was fucking awesome? Or he did, or
Sick.
he had,
Except,
right.
except for fucking little Muppet Rocco. That was the stupidest thing they've ever done.
Oh goodness. I always said it was overrated just a tad. And like I said, after watching documentaries and finding out that they were pretty shitty fucking people, I'm just not really too much on board. I give them their due for what they did for the wrestling business, but
right, exactly.
They were some shitty fucking people, man, and racist on top of it. So, let's see. Let me think of another one. Oh, here's a really good one. Sting, overrated or underrated?
Overrated.
Overrated. See, I kind of feel the same way. I get he's an icon and he's been in the business for as long as he's been in the business. But really, other than the angle that we were talking about earlier with the NWO, what did Sting really do that was great? And do not, and I know someone's going to say it. Someone's going to mention that fucking Joker TNA bullshit that he did, or the Main Event Mafia, which was just fucking weird. To me, he was like, did not fit in that shit with them.
Yeah, it didn't fit. To me, it didn't work. But he pulled it off for what it was. But again, when he came up, he's just a body, man. He's just a body. It's just something to look at with makeup.
He was more talented than his former partner, the Ultimate Warrior, or the Dingo Warrior.
In the ring, yeah. Yeah, he was. He was. Huh.
Here's a good one. Arn Anderson.
It's overrated, man. I'm sorry.
Dude had a spine buster. Dude. He had a spine buster.
I'm not saying he wasn't. I mean, I'm not one of those guys like, he's such a good worker, man. You know, I'm like about it. Like he looks like a gas station worker.
He really does not have the look. I can tell you that. He looks like George Costanza from Seinfeld.
That's what I'm saying. But here's the thing. I love Arn.
I do too. I love Arn. He's awesome.
I love Arn for what he is. He was always, but see, I was going to say he was booked well, but I get he was just booked too good.
The thing about people like Arn Anderson is that he come up in a generation where guys that look like him got over.
Yeah, man. They wanted to go with relatability back then more than anything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. No, that's too easy. Here's one. Here's a controversial guy. X-Pac. Overrated or underrated?
I like that one. I'm going underrated.
I think he gets, honestly, and I know
that X-Pac heat is some bullshit.
Patrick gets it to him hard. Now, I will say that, yes, X-Pac got a lot of breaks because of who his friends were. But
they weren't his friends when they signed him.
Right. Well, here's the thing too, is What motherfucker wouldn't have been friends to get over in the fucking business with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and Shawn Michaels?
Like,
Anyone would
seriously.
have fucking did it.
Like,
and he was in the years of where size fucking mattered. So being friends with those guys was going to secure his job. So I get it, man. And I kind of with you, like some of the heat that he gets is like unreal. He's a very humble person. Like when you sit down and watch him in interviews, he's very humble. Now I will agree with Patrick that he does look like someone. I don't know if I want to shake his hand or not because he looks disgusting, and who knows where the fuck he's been. But as far as like him being just like a cool, legit dude, he seems all right, man. Like he don't seem like he would have been one of the motherfuckers. Like, and you don't ever hear those stories like you do about like Scott and Kevin. Like you don't ever hear those stories about X-Pac. Like, oh, I was supposed to get a title push and then X-Pac fucked me out of it. Like you just don't hear those.
Dude.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Cool guy.
He's like, let's just party and have orgies. That's like, that's X-Pac. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and hit you with the big one. Let's go ahead and hit you with Hulk Hogan.
He's neither. He can't be overrated, man.
No, he can't be overrated.
He can't be. He just, as a worker, I guess, if you want to go that route, he didn't have the move set of a Macho Man. He didn't have the move set, of a worker like Dean Malenko.
You know, this is something like with the era thing we were talking about. You know, he had.
But he didn't need it.
He didn't need it. Everybody had 5 moves.
He didn't need it. Not everybody's going to be the top dog, and not everybody's going to be on the bottom. Some people just have it, and some people are draws, and some people aren't. Look, in the end, it's about making money. And at that point, the guy was in Rocky III. He had the look. He had the charisma. And in the end, that's what we look at more than anything. It's the moments. It's not the matches. It's good for entertainment. That match was sick. That match was awesome. But Elizabeth on Macho Man's shoulder, you're going to remember forever.
You know, you could easily say, I know that I can name a couple of matches that are memorable with Hogan. I can't do that with a lot of people. I mean, even though he wasn't that great, but it's just because the feuds he were in. The feuds with Sting, the feuds with fucking Macho Man, the feuds with The Rock. That was something that ended up being special that no one predicted. I don't give a fuck who he was. No one knew that those two were going to end up being. It was going to be that kind of chemistry between those two. and Hogan could barely like maybe do a wrist lock at that point in his career. He was in pretty bad shape. So for him to still be able to put that on is unreal. Well, let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and stop it there with the over and under. I'm going to go ahead and give you weight classes or divisions, I guess you could say, and you can give me some of your favorites. Some of your favorite tag teams.
Oh, I'm a big Rockers guy. I love what the Rockers did when I was a kid, man. When they came on the scene, it was just like, wow, these guys can fly. They do things that the flipping on the ropes and everything. I'm a big Rockers guy.
Yeah, that was really cool. I had their toys. I mean,
who I really liked? Besides the Dudley Boys, in ECW, the Eliminators. I like the Eliminators a lot.
I remember them.
For some reason, I remember being really like, those guys are sick. I wanted to give you one that was out of the box.
Yeah, I used to like Harlem Heat, and there's a couple of tag teams. I'm a Dudley person too. I love the Dudleys, man. I grew up on them dumbasses, and even the WWF version of the Dudleys was not horrible, And then even Spike Dudley was not horrible. As stupid as it was to have Spike in it, it was not terrible. Cruiserweight.
see. Well, back in the day, weren't these guys cruiserweights? Wasn't like Jericho a cruiserweight back then? He was, right?
Yep.
So, and like Benoit was on that list, on that roster. Mysterio.
Malenko, Juventud
Yeah, Malenko.
Guerrero. All those guys were.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Mysterio's just the GOAT, bro. Mysterio's the GOAT.
let's be real now. WCW just put anybody that was Mexican heritage in the cruiserweight division because they had fucking La Parca in it, and La Parca was like fucking easily 250, 275.
That's true. That's true.
I used to laugh all the time with that. La Parca be out there. I'm like, in the cruiserweight. Why the fuck is he in the cruiserweight division?
You know, it's funny you say that. I never thought of it that way. I was just like, he's a Mexican guy. That's where he belongs.
he does flips and shit, so he's a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
That's some of that dumb racist shit that we were talking about this morning in the locker room with A-listers. The shit they would do was shit like that. You know, I always loved the Parker. He was the chairman of WCW because he walked around with that chair.
Yeah.
Too bad he's dead now. He was pretty entertaining.
I
love the way he'd hit people that chair and then do that little strut for just a second, and then he'd get his ass whooped. I know who I did not think about. One person we did not bring up while we talked about WCW. And it's someone I feel that gets left in the dark. And I've seen that he's actually having a match with Penta coming up. And that is the Ultimate Dragon.
I was just going to say Ultimate Dragon. I was going to bring him up in the cruiserweight part.
Yeah. Ultimate Dragon is a guy that I thought that a bunch of people
honestly have to watch more of his stuff in Japan and shit like that. I got to watch more of his stuff.
Yeah, he was pretty awesome, man. Well, let's go ahead and move it along. Favorite championships. So
as far as
what are some of your favorite championships? Me, I'm an IC guy. I love the Intercontinental Championship. So,
as far as the way it looks, or
looks, heritage,
the way it's presented, the heritage and all that.
Mm-hmm.
See, I like where you're going with the IC as far as heritage, because at a point in time, it was the wrestler's belt. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I like the IC belt in that sense. As far as heritage and all that, I like that. I'm going to go with the IC belt, too. I'll piggyback off you.
You piggyback off of me, huh?
Yeah, I will on that one.
Let's say you had to start a promotion tomorrow. You had to go out and you had to grab 3 main stars to get your product over. Who is the 3 stars currently, not past, that you go and get to put your company over?
MJF, Roman Reigns. Oh, God. I don't want to say it because he's older now and it's a sexy pick. I don't want to say Punk. But just because if I wanted to get my company off the ground, I might have to go with him.
Yeah, you know, it's kind
so
of...
to get my company off the ground, I'm going MJF, Reigns, and Punk.
You know, a lot of people I wrote about Jericho in AEW. That was the point of Jericho, was because of his name. You know, people don't realize now. Everyone knows who they are, but just a couple of years ago, there's a lot of wrestling fans that didn't even watch a Kenny Omega match or watch a Young Bucks match or any of those guys. So you couldn't put the title right on those guys as soon as they come through the door. Everyone would say, well, at least they're not pushing themselves. I thought they can't push themselves. Half America don't know who the fuck they are.
Yeah.
At least you're a diehard wrestling fan. You don't watch New Japan. You don't watch fucking Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and all those guys.
Right.
The Bullet Club. You just don't fucking do it. The WWE fan didn't know who the fuck Kenny Omega was. If he comes in, you put the AEW title on, they're going to eye-roll and say, oh, well, fuck, here's Impact 2.0 and turn the fucking channel. But the moment that you put it on Chris Jericho, it was like, oh, fuck, Chris Jericho.
What the hell's he doing there?
Yeah, what the fuck's he doing there? If he's there, then the company's got to be legitimate. You know, he wouldn't fucking be there if they wouldn't. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's the same approach I would take. I would take one of those approaches. I would go get one of those seasoned guys that's got a big name, and I would fucking put my belt on them. And no matter how much people I wrote it, I'd be like, well, I guarantee you, we still gonna sell merchandise. Everyone's gonna pay to see Jericho. I mean, whether he's
man.
They paid to see Jericho while he looked like a fucking beach whale, drinking champagne. The dude was so fat he could barely put the lion tamer on. You know what I'm saying? And he's still so
yeah, man, he could talk. Got to get the gab.
Look at my overhyped rookie.
It's a hater.
Everything. Danny Lee Moore. Well, I don't know who that is. Let's see here. Well, Tonster Damas.
Pleasure.
It has been a pleasure, sir.
It was fun.
We talked a little bit about Tonster. We talked a lot of wrestling, which is what we do mostly on this show. That's what it most of the conversation ends up going. Before we get out of here, let's take a step off of wrestling and give me some of your favorite foods. Let's go ahead and put it this way. You're about to get the chair. You get one last meal. What is it that you eat before you go to the chair?
As much as I love pizza, I gotta go with Chinese food.
Chinese food, dude. I'm a Chinese food guy too, man. Like, I love Asian cuisine.
Yeah, man. Anything Asian, bro. Anything Asian. Give me the poo-poo platter if I'm going to the chair. Give me the poo-poo platter so I get a mixture of everything. And I'll take the General Chow. I gotta go to General Chow's chicken.
Hell yeah. Well, as I said, don't forget, February the 28th, we will have A-List Alverston, the current Revolution World Heavyweight Champion, will be on the show. Do not forget, this weekend, we have another episode of Fight Night going on through the tag team tournament. It is down between Sweet Chaos, Hollywood and Stump, Hodgson and Harry versus Champion and Villain. Those teams, whoever wins out of those, will move on to the finals the week after. Whoever wins that is the number one contender for the tag team championships that will take place at Green with Envy. It will not take place at Fatal Attraction. I know some of these guys will be confused when that stuff's going to take place, so let me go ahead and get it straight. We also got to fill that card with some other good matches too, so everybody that got eliminated, we'll get y'all guys booked up. Well, Tonster, it has been fun. Thank you, sir, for taking an hour out of your night, man, and away from your family, and
appreciate it.
Coming and goofing off just so we can get some good content on the page and everyone get to know who you are.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Hope everybody had a good time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Outbreak champion, the future Tonster Damas. Look at that bell. I want to see it. Yeah, look at that. Ain't it beautiful?